You're listening to Behind the Wheel on RacingJunk.com. You've read the stories of the drivers and others involved in the sport that we all love. Now hear their stories firsthand via our all-new podcast to find out how their passion for motorsports has made life worth living. Happy holidays.
Uh-oh, he's drank too much already.
Happy holidays. It's such a good sauce. Is it not?
It's pretty good.
And this time of year, it's good on just about anything. Let me tell you what, you put that thing on a fried chicken sandwich from the Golden Skillet, it is the best thing on the planet. All right.
You can tell he already hit it up for Thanksgiving. So God knows what's going to happen at Christmas.
Been going since I ain't even stopping. Leftovers my foot. That's just called good eating. Welcome to the latest edition of Behind the Wheel. We want to thank our recent guest, 2017 SEMA Battle of the Builders winner and owner of awesome custom automotive shop Rad Rides, Troy Trepanier. His 1929 Ford Model A Tudor sedan. That thing was so cool. I went and checked out even more pictures of it online. Mm-hmm. Messaged him, haven't heard back.
I was hoping he might put that under my Christmas tree.
Yeah, he's not going to let me have it. I know he's not going to let me have it. Probably because the subject of the email that I sent to him said, let me have it. I don't even think he opened it. But, last episode, we did a really good job of talking about some of the kick-ass machines that are out there.
Oh, man.
But this episode, we're going to get back to what makes this sport great. We're going to get down to some championship drivers, and I'm excited about today's show. Tell me who we got coming.
We have the top, and I mean the top NHRA drivers, the championships 2017. If you didn't see who won the championships in the 2017 NHRA, you're missing out. We've got every single champion. We've got Brittany Force, Top Fuel. So gorgeous. Awesome. Yeah, Chris can't stop talking about it.
I'm going to propose to her later on.
Oh, Lord. I think she'll turn him down. Hopefully she'll go easy on him.
I got a ring.
It's not a gorgeous one. I'm just saying, girl, sorry. We got Robert Hight, who blew a funny car. I mean, I really didn't see him coming. Where did he come from?
He came right from Force Racing is where he came from.
That's right. We also have the legendary Bo Butner, who's going to join us on the show. And let me tell you, he is going to be hysterical. So everybody just hang on because this is going to be a great show. We're
going to have a lot of fun. And, I think we're going to talk to Robert first.
Yes.
Top Gun, who just had a fantastic finish to the year. Mm-hmm. Maybe not a good best beginning, but as we're going to find out, that don't really matter, does it?
No, it comes all down to the end. And, all three drivers I selected to win the championships didn't even win. So you can't pick it from the beginning. You can only pick it from the end.
Well, we're going to pick it right now. Just don't pick your nose.
I don't do that. That's what you do.
Hey, that's what I do. You bless your heart. You got to stand there and stare at me 2 digits deep in the nostril. Merry Christmas. Happy holiday. All right, so let's get Robert on the phone. I'm excited about this one. We got some championship racing, championship conversations right here on Behind the Wheel. Hang on, let's get Robert on the phone. All right, and it does look like we got Robert on the phone. Good old Top Gun. I'm excited about talking to you, brother. Thank you so much for joining us. By the way, how was your Thanksgiving?
It was great. Yep, it was really good. Mm-hmm. Everything, probably, the best Thanksgiving in a long time. Had a lot to be thankful for.
Good. Yeah, let me tell you what, this has been one of those years where I feel like it's kind of come full circle a little bit. The years have gotten a little bit better. And
definitely
things are better this year than they have been in years past. I mean, maybe that's just me. I don't know.
No, I agree. Especially for Robert, considering he finally got over his drought.
Exactly.
Oh, now come on now, Robert, come on now. Look, you can't just let that one sit there. Come on now,
we've definitely turned things around, and this has been an unbelievable year.
Speaking of, tell us about the NHRA series finale at Auto Club Raceway. How did that turn your season around, man?
Well, that was probably the most stressful weekend I've ever had racing. Mm-hmm. We roll into Pomona as the points leader in the funny car class, and didn't get qualified the first day. Mm-mm. And I really wasn't worried about it. And then go into Saturday, Q3, don't get qualified. Mm-hmm. Now I'm starting to worry. And but you still have faith in your team. You always believe in them that they're going to fix it the next run. And, we wouldn't be in the position we are with leading the points if you didn't have great guys and a great team. So anyway, it was crazy and ended up having to pedal the car Q4 to get in the number 15 spot.
Oh, man.
Our worst qualifying effort of the entire season.
Now, did somebody on your team, and I'm sorry, Robert, I don't mean to cut you off, but I always got to ask this because, management hits us with this all the time. Did somebody on your team say, we have a plan, stick to the plan?
Yeah, you know what? It was kind of funny. No one said anything. They just knew what had to be done. They knew their jobs. They kept their nose down and, didn't get negative, didn't get down, just kept forging ahead and believed in each other.
That's the difference.
That's it is.
Yeah.
It was amazing to watch them. But going into Sunday morning, you still have a points lead, and you've got to go round for round with Ron Capps.
Yeah.
And we were on the same side of the ladder, so it wasn't going to go to the final, but it was possible to get to the semis and race him to the championship. So, but here we are, 15th. So we're racing a hitter first round, number 2 qualifier, Tim Wilkerson, and totally didn't sleep Saturday night. It was like, oh my God! But you still believe in your team. You still believe, okay. Qualifying didn't go the way we wanted, but, all year we've never went 5 runs in a row without making a good run. So, okay, well, qualifying's behind us. They will fix this thing for first round. And sure enough, they did. We were low ET first round and first pair. So now I had to wait till I think like 6th pair to see what Ron Capps was going to do. Was he going to win and match us? And then, okay, the pressure's still on. You go to second round. And luckily for us, Ron Capps smoked the tires and it was over. Del Worsham, my good friend, took him out, and here we are, 2017 champs. So it was after that, it was just it was relax and have some fun the rest of the day, okay? And get to the semifinals, racing Courtney, and I won the round, but right when I right at the finish line, it blew up. And anyway, went in the sand, ruined the car, had to pull out another car for the final.
Right.
And we lost. But I really believe had that not happened, we would have won the race and, running a spare car, spare parts. It was just different for the final, and it shook. So
that victory over Capps, was that bittersweet? And how did it also feel at the same time to end that season-long drought?
Oh, it was it's amazing. 2009 we won, and I honestly thought, I had Jimmy Prock as my crew chief then. I honestly thought another championship's going to come here pretty quick, because once you've done it once, you believe, you can do it. There's not that doubt. Okay, I was always a doubt until you do something, whether you have what it takes to do it. And once you win it, then it's like your confidence goes up. So I honestly thought we would win again, but it was 8 years. So I think that just kind of proves how tough this class is, how hard it is to win, let alone a race, but a championship.
Yeah.
I mean, look at when you win in one of these races, you've accomplished something, and it feels good. It's not easy. There's a lot of good cars, a lot of good competition. So, like I said, winning a race is awesome, not easy to do, and winning a championship even harder.
We are talking with funny car driver Robert Hight, and Robert, you talk about being since 2009 going until this year's championship. What was different between those victories? What felt different? Is it the team? Walk me through that. How did that feel? And what did the difference between those championships feel like?
Well, the first one's always, probably bittersweet. It's your first. But all I really had to do at Pomona that year in 2009 was qualify. Okay. Right. I had won 3 of the 6 races in the countdown. All we had to do was roll into Pomona and qualify, and it was over. This year here, you had to go round for round with Ron Capps. Right. But I tell you what's different is the last 2 years previous, at least, Jimmy Prock was gone. He went away to another team. We were fortunate enough to get him back here this year, and you could see it definitely paid off. We won a championship. And I was pretty bummed in 13 when John switched, Jimmy Prock and Mike Neff as crew chiefs.
Mm-hmm.
So Jimmy went to John, and I went to Mike Neff.
Mm-hmm.
And not that Mike Neff's a great guy, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But Jimmy was my friend, okay? Started racing with him in 2005, and we were a team. And John went on to win the championship that year with Jimmy.
Mm-hmm.
And then in 14, they were in the game, went down, right to the end. Excuse me, I'm getting over a cold. But 15 and 16, he was gone. So the real key to getting that championship this year and back in the ball game, back in the hunt, was getting Jimmy Prock back here. And for the most part, it's still the same team that I had in 09. Mm-hmm. So, that shows you right there what kind of guy Jimmy Prock is.
Right.
He's kept a team together. Those guys, they really are behind him. They work well together. And another key ingredient is Chris Cunningham. Jimmy really never had somebody before when he was here to bounce ideas off of and work with. And Chris Cunningham is that guy. They work very well together. In fact, there's a lot of times last second decisions on the starting line. Chris Cunningham makes some of those calls, and they just go with it. There's not any talk about it. Chris will say, "This is what we're doing." We do it, and it usually works out. So I joked at the banquet. There's that the movie Jerry Maguire, and at the end, the guy says to the girl, "You complete me." Well, Chris Cunningham really completes Jimmy Prock as a crew chief. So nope. They're a good team.
Let me tell you what, the look that Ellen and I gave each other when you said that was classic, because everybody knows that movie. Everybody knows that feeling.
You complete me.
And you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. But come on now. You're all Chevy guys.
No, it was good.
You mean you're all Chevy guys? Surely there was a dissenter among the ranks, a Ford fan that was like, "I think we need to change something."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, he mentioned John Force. I'm kind of curious as to how John felt about, you've got your crew chief back, the crew chief he had. How did John feel when you picked up the championship when you were so close against Ron Capps this year?
Oh, he was ecstatic. We had me and Brittany. Well, actually, even Courtney too. She had a long shot at it going into the last race, but we were leading in the funny car class, and just the way our car had been running, you had confidence in Jimmy Prock and this team getting it done. Mm-hmm. But Brittany only a round back going into Pomona with her top fuel dragster, and she'd already won, a couple races in the countdown. So, it's just, it's something you start dreaming about. Wow, we have a shot here at 2 championships coming in, winning 2 championships, rolling into the last race of the year. And, did it. We pulled it off. And I think that kind of validates all the hard work that we put in, the last few years, finding new sponsors, new partners, getting team members and putting the right people together. And it really paid off. It worked. So, it's kind of validation for all the hard work that we put into it. And, we've been promising all these new partners that we're going to win again. Mm-hmm. We're going to be in the ball game. And Chevrolet hadn't won a championship in funny cars since 2007. So
right.
10 years, put them back at the top.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And those guys, they over the top, so happy, excited. They went into NASCAR, the last race without a chance to win a championship.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember, the last couple of years, you go into Vegas, Pomona, the last 2 races, and it's not a very good feeling when you're not in the running to win a championship.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got to go to the banquet and see somebody else celebrate.
Mm-hmm.
And you just kind of use all that as motivation. It's like, I don't want to be here next year. Mm-hmm. What do we got to do to put ourselves in a better position? And, we did it, and it all paid off. So That's why I said Thanksgiving was a lot better this year than it has been in previous years.
Didn't come off a loss.
Let me tell you, and you have such a good name, Timmy. The Force team is such a good group of folks. And, I mean, Top Gun, finally, 2017 is his year.
Yeah.
So, I'm excited about that. But what does that leave for 2018? What are you guys gearing up for next year? What is the bar now that you've made the championship?
We're already hard at it, working. We know we have a target on our backs. Those other guys, they're not sitting still. The other teams, they want to win it. So we've got to work hard, not let up, not get complacent. And I tell you what my goal is, okay? Both years I've won the championship, I did it because of a countdown, okay? And that's the rules we play by. That's what's that?
The countdown races, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, is that what you're talking about?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, they reset the points.
Yeah.
Had there not been a reset in points, 2009 or this year, I wouldn't have been the champ. So we used that, to our advantage and got hot at the right time, started winning races. And, I think you'd race different if you didn't have a countdown. I think you wouldn't let those races early on in the year get by you.
Right.
You'd test more. So my goal is I want to win a championship from start to finish, okay? I want to be the best car from the beginning of the year all the way to the end and look back and say, you know what, I'd have been the champ with or without a reset in points.
That's my kind of champion.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's our goal. And I think, Jimmy Prock had to learn how to run a 6-disc clutch. He had never run one before he came back to us. And so we spent a big part of the first part of the year learning that. And we had flashes of brilliance, qualifying well, but not any consistency. We weren't racing well. We weren't putting a lot of runs in a row together, which is what it takes to win. So he said, we better have our act together by the time we go out on the West Coast swing. And it's exactly what we did. Won 2 of the 3 races on the West Coast swing, set the new speed record at 339.87 miles an hour, went to Brainerd, Minnesota, first funny car ever in the 370s in ET. And, right then I knew we were on our way. If we just had to maintain this performance and consistency, and we were going to be there at the end, and it's exactly what happened.
Well, you did a phenomenal job. What is your advice to anybody who kind of aspires to be you someday?
A lot of hard work. I learned from John Force. Okay? He doesn't have any other hobbies. He doesn't golf. He doesn't fish. It's race 24/7. And how I came up is, I learned. I came up as a mechanic. I worked on the team, worked on the car, did the clutch on John's cars, I built motors, kind of done a little of everything. I believe I could go build a race car by myself. And I didn't have the luxury of starting like my daughter. She's 13 years old, drives a junior dragster. And then you move up to Super Comp and then to the alcohol cars and then, into the pros. I didn't have that luxury. So understanding the race car, knowing how it works, that's how I got there and, made me a good driver. So I think I wish I could have done some more racing and competing in some of the other classes. It just didn't work out. So hard work and, you got to love what you do. It's not a job, that's for sure. It's every day. It's a passion. It's a journey. It's exciting, and you don't look at it as work.
Well, Top Gun, you're definitely in a good family. You're in a good position, and I think with you at the helm of Force Racing, I think that's going to make some big strides coming up here in the next few years. Now, two quick questions for you. We're in the holiday season. Happy holidays to you, by the way. Merry Christmas to you and your family.
You too, guys. Thank you.
What do you want for Christmas? You got this championship.
Yeah, what else can you ask
sorry,
for?
but if I were your brother-in-law, if I was your dude, you wouldn't be getting jack squat from me.
You're right. No, I don't need anything. I'm very fortunate to be in the position I am. I tell you what I do want to do is really all I want for Christmas is to spend some time with my daughter and, take that's when I usually take some time off. I haven't had any time off even since Pomona. So I usually take the week off between Christmas and New Year's, spend it with my daughter, go do something different each year, whether it be going, someplace warm, going someplace where it's cold and, messing around in the snow, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I want for Christmas. And
that's a great.
Couldn't ask for anything better.
After the first of the year.
That's awesome.
That's great.
All right, and then one more question. Here in a few minutes, we're also going to be talking to your sister-in-law, Brittany. Give me a dish. Give me something. Give me a question that we could ask that could just put her in her spot. It's going to stump her. Give me something. What you got?
He's awful.
I don't think I've got any questions that will do that.
Don't protect her. She's been racing since 13. She's fine. She can handle it.
Well,
I think she's been asked everything.
I would like you to tell her, what I think, and that is that she, she's still learning, okay? But I promise you, she is from here forward going to be a lot better driver than she has been.
Mm-hmm.
Not that she's been bad at all.
No.
She knows she can do it now, okay?
Oh,
her confidence is there, and my prediction is you're going to see that car, just like I said earlier, what I want to do, be in the hunt from the beginning to the end of next year.
Sure.
Her team's still intact, and Brittany Force is going to next year, even though she won the championship this year, next year is her breakout year. She's going to dominate the class.
Yeah, she just got to stand up against the same driver again because he's ready. But you know what? I'm glad to see a female on top. It's about time.
Yeah.
No offense.
She can do it.
There's not really anybody in his class to take him.
Yeah. No. Yeah. I mean,
female-wise.
I mean, how much longer is Caps going to be in there? I mean, come on.
No, Caps is going to be a while for a while. I'm talking about a female.
Well, Top Gun, you have absolutely earned, over the career that the nickname. And man, we are so proud of you, and congratulations on the success. We can't wait to see what happens in 2018. We hope you get a chance to come back here to Behind the Wheel. We'd love to get you back on during the season. And, man, I hope you have a great family Christmas. Happy holidays to you and to everybody, and we'll look forward to talking to you next year.
Same here, guys. Hope you have a great holiday, and I'm available anytime. Always enjoy talking to you.
Great. Thanks a lot, Robert. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Get him, Top Gun. We'll see you. What a cool dude.
Robert is awesome. He's a little more solemn than what John Force might be. I don't know if you want to call it something. He's a little quieter. He's a little more professional.
I remember John Force doing those old interviews. He kind of reminded me of one of those good old Southern talking heads.
He is a good old Southern boy. Well, technically he's from California, but I think he was really somehow bred into, the South.
Well, and that's what's great about, being here at Behind the Wheel. We get a chance to talk to, you talk about a great family, that Force family.
Yes, this is my third time talking to the Forces. So
now we get to talk to Brittany. And give me a little background on Brittany.
Brittany is incredible as far as a driver. Well, I don't look at females like that. He does, so I'm just saying. I'll let you tell her that when she gets on the phone, okay?
Single. Gorgeous. Okay, no, I'm sorry, continue. Am I interrupting? Please, go ahead.
He's got me a bit distracted. Hey, she just met Taylor Swift, so I know you're all excited about that.
That's my baby.
Your baby?
That's my baby. She don't know it yet. That's my baby.
Are you going to do a DNA?
Well, she's into weird older dudes, right? I fit the bill for that, up one side and down the other.
I don't know what she's into at this point. I know she just gets angrier by the day, so.
That's why she needs a little bit of Tater in her life.
To calm her down.
To calm everything down, make everything better. But I mean, for the first time Top Fuel world champion.
Yeah, and it's incredible. I mean, I covered the entire season at NHRA, and I did not see Brittany Force coming. I thought for sure Top Fuel was already locked up when it got to Auto Club. I was like, Steve Torrence has this lined up. Nobody seemed to be able to take him, especially those last few races. I honestly thought that, he had it going, and then he got to Auto Club and everything fell apart. Now, he got close. They were neck and neck.
Right.
And then that last race, he just lost it, and he lost his temper a little bit while he was there. So he was ready to pick up the championship. But you know what? It was Brittany Force's year. It's her turn. He's had his opportunity. He'll have his opportunity again. He's already thrown his team to the wolves. He's telling them he doesn't want them to take any breaks. they're going to get his car ready for next year. So he's probably the first driver who, as soon as he got back, the first team that got back, were already working. Yeah, they already started working.
Was cranking.
There was no rest. He was ready to go ahead and take her down for the next year. But you know what? There are so few times that we see a female on top in any kind of drag racing, especially NHRA at the upper echelon. You'll see it in some of the motorcycles and the two wheels and that kind of thing, but you don't see it in Top Fuel. It is so rare. And now we've got females that are already dropping out in the higher levels, and it's time. It's time to see some of these females on top.
To ask her about that.
Yeah, I'm very excited.
There's a perception there.
Well, of course. And there are more and more females coming through the ranks, but there are always going to be those males who think, who do they think they are?
Right.
And, of course, she is a force. So,
she's gorgeous.
Okay, we got that.
She is. She's absolutely gorgeous.
Well, and
sharp,
she is
funny, single.
Are you going to ask her out while we're on the phone?
I am. I got a ring in my pocket. Look, I found this in the bubblegum machine. It looks like a paper clip, but it's actually a ring, okay? And yes, that is one of those Christmas ornaments that fell off the Christmas tree put on top.
She is John Force's daughter. You're going to have to do a little bit better than that.
Let me tell you what. I would say to John Force right now. I would say, sir, may I please have your, okay, thank you for your time. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Okay, thank you, sir. But no, we are getting ready to talk right now to Top Fuel World Champion Brittany Force, and I can't wait to see what this one's going to sound like.
All right.
Which we will right after this.
Attention racers, race fans, and gearheads. If you're looking to buy, sell, or trade the stuff that stokes your engine, then check out RacingJunk.com. RacingJunk.com is the world's #1 online racing and performance classifieds, where you'll find what you need to rock your ride. Check us out at RacingJunk.com. Racing and performance classifieds built to go fast.
Welcome back to Behind the Wheel on RacingJunk.com.
It's funny. The very first, I work for a radio station.
On a regular.
Yeah, on a regular. And the very first, what we call Wolf Den shows, which is like an intimate one-on-one where you get to meet the artist and they do a little private show. The very first one we did when we flipped the formats to the country was Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
And it was
her first album.
It was her first, and the night before she won New Artist of the Year. The very next night she was in Nashville picking up that award. And you're right. Down to earth, still down to earth. Whenever she comes and does shows here in town, she comes by the station, still remembers everybody's name. Now, granted, there might be a good PR person, but still, good PR people will take you far, Brittany.
She knows that. She's got a great PR person.
Right.
Yeah.
So, Brittany, thank you so much for joining us. I got to tell you, you've been going since 2013, and the first time Top Fuel World Championship, you took down a driver who dominated for a while. Tell me a little bit about how that was, how that felt.
The season has been just amazing. I mean, if you look back on the beginning of our season, we struggled quite a bit. We didn't bring home our first win until way later on in the season in Epping. And, we went out, we did some testing and we found an issue in our car. And just 2 weekends later, we won Epping, New Hampshire. So that was a big win for us. And then after that, it was, again, we kind of struggled a little bit, but then went into, when it came down to the countdown, that's when we really turned a corner and, stepped up our game. I want to say we won 18 rounds out of like 24 or something crazy like that, just in countdown races. And, we won a handful of those races and really it came down to the countdown. That's when it all really matters. That's when you have to be on your game. No mistakes could be made by the driver, the crew chief, the crew guys. And, we really found our stride and carried it all the way through up until Pomona. And that's how we were able to take that #1 spot.
But Torrance is such a bulldog.
He is.
And there's got to be some guttural feeling that when you won, you were like, yes.
Of course. It was just, I'm still blown away by it. I want to go back and relive that whole day over. The buildup of it coming out of Las Vegas. We left Las Vegas, final round. We got beat on a red light. So that was my error right there. So that was tough to leave that behind going to Pomona. But there was so much pressure with everything. And I've never been in that situation before. So trying to figure out how to handle it was tough. But, we all pulled together and figured it out as a team. And, it was, I honestly thought it would come down to Steve and I Steve Torrance and I, in the semifinals. I thought, oh man, like it's going to come down to that, and that's going to be the biggest gut ache. That's going to be the toughest round ever. It's just going to be nerves to the roof. But you know, he went out in the second round right in front of us, and you know, we got around him and got a win. So. Oh, I still can't believe it. Still seems just surreal.
Sounds like she had a weight off.
Yeah,
she's like,
yeah, you hear that sigh that came out. I mean, plus, you know, to be one of the first females in the sport to do that.
Especially in Top Fuel.
I mean, Brittany, how does that, I mean, has it sunk in yet?
Yeah, it's starting to sink in a little bit.
I know you're used to seeing the wins. And I know you're used to the family winning. I know you're used to winning. But I mean,
but a championship is like just huge. It's like when I first got into racing, I pictured, you know, wins obviously, and the big dream is a championship, but I don't know if we'd ever get there. That just seems too big of an accomplishment to ever reach. I mean, people are out here for years until they finally, you know, get there. But you know, with a crew chief like Alan Johnson and Brian Hewson and my whole Monster team, they're just incredible. And you know, we made mistakes all year long. Me as a driver, you know, losing on hole shots, red lights, crew guys making simple errors where, you know, it cost us on race day. And you didn't see any of those mistakes when it came down to the countdown, and that's when it really mattered. Besides my red light, but putting that aside, you know, we really pulled it together as a team, and it just, you know, winning that whole, you know, Pomona, winning the championship, it's just all that hard work. It so pays off. We had so many ups and downs, and where you beat yourself up when you leave the racetrack, whether it's a crew guy or many times me as a driver, and you know, you carry that with you. You know, until the next race, and it's tough to turn that off. But you know, once we got there to Pomona and how everything fell into place, it was like, okay, this is why we went through all those, you know, tough days. This is why we went through all those ups and downs, because it got us here. So that's something that's, I think, so cool.
We are talking to Top Fuel world champion Brittany Force. And Brittany, you mentioned just a minute ago about the family. What was that like coming up and knowing that you're going to have pressure on you right out the gate? How did that feel? How did that affect you? And what was it like learning under your dad?
You know, I'm lucky that I have my dad's support, because he's the best in this business. He's the best in this industry. He's done everything. 16 championships. That just seems unreal to me. But, I mean, he's been on fire. He's been upside down. He's done everything you can possibly think of. So I really have the best coach. I have the best teacher, and you know, we have our moments where we butt heads big time, and we have our moments where we get along. It's tough to find that separation between dad and boss, but we make it work.
Right.
And you know, it's great. I wouldn't have it any other way. It'd be a lot tougher if my family wasn't out there with me, because you know, we put in long hours, and we're out there. You know, we're in and out of airports. You know, in and out of suitcases, living in hotels, and it gets lonely out there. So I'm lucky that I have, you know, my family out there and my sister on the road with me. It definitely makes it a little bit easier.
Ellen and I were talking about this before you joined us, about the perception. Now, you probably have a double whammy when it comes to perception. You're female, number one, in a male-dominated sport.
And the daughter of John Force.
What is that like behind the scenes?
You know, I don't really, that does play into it all. I think it, you know, there's only a handful of us females out here, but it's something that I'm proud of, especially when our team wins. But when you climb in those cars, and you're up in the, you know, in the lane next to somebody else, whether they've been out here for 2 years or 20 years, it doesn't matter. It's when the helmet goes on, I don't think the driver in the lane next to you cares whether you're female or male. I mean, maybe sometimes it may get to them a little bit, and you could use that to your advantage, being a female, because I've had people say to me before, "Oh, I don't want to get beat by a girl."
Right,
and, you know,
right. There we go.
So
okay.
You always carry that with you a little bit, which is whatever. I'll take my wins as I can get them.
See, that's where I'm going. There's got to be those dudes that walk around. Oh, here she comes. Here comes Brittany, little force. I mean, come on now. Just surely it's like,
I'm okay with that. If that gets in their head and affects them on the starting line, I am perfectly okay with that.
That's the way to do it.
It's like football. You get in their head.
You know, we all have, you know, certain people we go up against. Where
I want to hear her say, I want to hear you say you put sugar in somebody's tank. That's all I want to hear.
Oh, yeah. I don't think she's done that. Come on now.
That's all I want to hear.
That was back in her dad's day, not now.
Honestly, the people I compete against in this sport that's why I love the sport so much. I mean, some of these people I compete against, I remember watching when I was a kid, but they're all the greatest drivers, greatest competitors out there. Like there's so many, Tony Schumacher, Sean Langdon, Antron Brown, who after I got beat up all weekend long, made the time to come over to me and tell me, keep your head up, girl. And if you ever need any help or need any advice, I'm always here. So I think it's cool that we have that in our sport.
It has become like a family. I've noticed that with drag racing. It does seem like a big family.
Even more so today, it seems like, than in the past, because, any NHRA driver I've talked to, they all have good things to say about their competitors. Well, while it might not seem that way when you all are competing on race day, that's just high frustrations, high tensions, things like that. And, of course, there's always the media that wants to talk to drivers like Steve Torrence right after everything's over, and there's some frustration there. But it does seem like, everyone has decided that, yes, we are a family. We don't care what team we drive for. Yes, we're out there to win, but do we care who the driver is beside us that we've got to win in the next lane? No, not really. We need our car to perform, so that's the important part.
Yeah, and in the moment of it all, on race day or qualifying, whatever it is, in that moment, you may be frustrated, you may be however you're feeling, but at the end of the day, when you're looking back on it all, we compete against the greatest people out here, and everyone has been so awesome. I've only been out here 5 years, but I compete against the greatest people.
And this may be the holidays talking, because, I'm filled with the holiday spirit. But is there somebody out there that you want to beat more than anybody else?
I think she already did that.
I know she did. But is there somebody, when you see him walk on the track, you're just like, I love this guy, but...
There's a few of them. Leah Pritchett, obviously. We've always had that tension between us, two females.
Yes.
But I've always said Tony Schumacher, because he's one that I always looked up to as a kid. And the first time I ran against him, for me, I didn't care that I lost. I just couldn't believe Tony Schumacher was in the lane next to me. Like, that to me was a win on its own. And so I love beating him just because of that.
I mean, Steve Torrence had to feel good. I mean, and Antron Brown, I mean, anytime you think of Top Fuel, you think of him. No offense to any, the Force or anything like that, but he's won so many championships in Top Fuel, and it seemed like this year he could not get it together. So it's amazing that, even if he couldn't get it together, you all stayed on top of somebody who everybody knows who Antron Brown is. Everybody.
Yeah, Antron's one of the best in the sport. He's one of the best leavers. He's had so many championships. And, I love competing against him. I love lining up next to him.
He was shook by the force. Hey,
that could be your next sticker. There you go. So now that you finally won a championship in the largest division and the hardest division, in my opinion, in NHRA, what are your plans for the future?
Well, go back and bring home another one. Just the excitement of it all. After it all, Pomona ended, the day ended, and it was like, wow, we have a championship. And then my team, I thought, we had a meeting and talked about everything, and it was like, hold on, I have to get out of the seat for 2 months. What are we going to do for the next 2 months? Just sit around, and we have all this hype and all this energy and excitement, and it's like, I want to get back in my race car and do this all over again, but now we have to wait 2 months. So it's kind of, I'll be ready to get back in the car in the beginning of the season in February. I'm ready now.
I bet you are. Well, I mean, go ahead and start testing. Shoot, Torrance got his team back like right away. They've already started working on his car. There have been stories left and right about his team already working. That his goal is he is not going to lose next year, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, they had that team. I mean, they won like 8 races or something. They had an incredible season. So
they did, but it doesn't matter. It comes down to the end. It just doesn't matter. Yeah. I mean, and the forces are hard to beat.
That's the way the game goes.
Exactly. It's almost like a gamble every time. Any given Sunday, in a sense.
Any given Sunday. Here you are with the football thing again.
I like any given Sunday. I think it could affect any sport.
This is true. Yeah. And that's why we play the game. We give 110% any given Sunday. That's why we put the pedal to the metal. That's why I put gas in the tank. That's why I wore loafers. I mean, you could use it for anything you want. So, Brittany, do you have any advice? Because you had mentioned, there's a little bit of tension on the track between you and some of the other females in the sport. If there are young ladies that are watching you that are going, wow,
I want to be her.
I want to be her. I want to do what she does. What advice would you give them?
I would say to start in junior dragsters. I wish I would have jumped into junior dragsters when I was younger, but I didn't get in until I was 16 to a Super Comp dragster. But honestly, I think that's the way to go. Start in junior dragsters, get a feel for it, see if you really love it, and if that's the direction you want to go, and then go head out from there. But another thing I've really learned in this whole countdown, especially coming out of Vegas, with negative thoughts that I had to leave behind, and going into Pomona, the power of staying positive. I know it sounds corny, but I really believe that it, visualizing good runs, visualizing, doing the best job you can in the seat driving, visualizing positive things. I think it helps you perform better. It gets you, keeps you focused and keeps your mind in the right place. And I think that's a reason why we were able to pull it off. Part of the reason. There were many factors, obviously, that went into it, but
that's a big factor.
All of
it's
it.
a huge factor.
That is, and you know what? To that end, Top Gun had a comment. He said, Brittany is still learning, but she's doing great. Mm-hmm. And from here forward, I can guarantee you that she's only going to be better. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
How does that make you feel?
That's pretty good. It's pretty cool to hear something like that, just because I know I'm still, looking at next season and just, seasons ahead. I'm going to screw up. I'm going to make mistakes, but you learn from it. It's tough. But, we're going to keep pushing for more. Now that we've brought home a championship, we definitely know we could do it again, and that's what we want. That's why we're out here. And, I love the sport of NHRA drag racing. It's the greatest sport out there. And, winning definitely makes it that much better.
Right. Yeah, it does. It makes it a little sweeter.
Well, hey, even Robert, gave you another positive comment. His goal for next year, of course, is to win as many races and to do well all the way from the beginning of the season all the way through the countdown, not just, shoot for the countdown to do well there, because obviously the points reset. He thinks you're going to do the same next year. Mm-hmm. He thinks you'll keep up with him just as much as success as he has, as you'll have the same. Yeah. So, hey, that's a positive comment right there. Yeah.
Yep, to stay on top the whole way, and then you really have to, bring it home when you're in that countdown, because that's when it really matters. That's when it's important. And, but one of my goals next year is I want to double up with either my dad or my sister.
Oh,
that would be a goal.
I want to see you and your dad. That'd be cool.
I would like to see that too. That'd be awesome.
I've doubled up with Robert a few times, but now I want to do it with my dad or my sister. So that would just be
how sweet would that be?
On top of the cake.
Take Pops down.
Well, he's been defeated by his daughters before. It wouldn't be the first time.
I know, right?
I'm curious how he feels after that happens, though.
Proud.
Does he feel proud, or does he get mad?
When Courtney and my dad compete against each other, it's like kind of bittersweet.
Really?
I mean, you're frustrated I'm sure they're frustrated that they lost, but you can't be that frustrated because, your teammate,
it's your dog.
won. So it can't be that bad of a day.
The team still won.
The team still won, but I can still see John going, what did
dang
we do
it.
wrong?
Yeah, dang it. Crawling the crew chief over. That's it. Just lighting him up. And for the holidays, I mean, coming off of the Top Fuel World Championship, and Christmas is right around the corner. Surely there's nothing that you would want for Christmas because you just won something
also
amazing.
Just met Taylor Swift. How much more could she ask for?
I mean, what do you want for Christmas?
Honestly, this championship is way more than I ever could have imagined. So this will be it, but it'll be my family in Tahoe, and we'll have to sit down and watch the race again. I watched it
there you go.
A few weeks back with my dad, but I want to sit down and watch it with my whole family again up in Lake Tahoe.
That's not what I was hoping she'd say.
Snow this year. That would be my Christmas wish, some snow in Lake Tahoe.
See, now I got to go take the ring back. That's not what I was hoping she'd say.
She doesn't want that rinky-dink thing you just got from the bubblegum machine.
I got her a ring. I mean,
it cost all at 25 cents.
$1.298 is what it cost.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Tell you what.
That counts, right?
That's right. It's a thought that counts. Brittany, let me tell you, that will be a phenomenal Christmas, and we hope you and the family have a wonderful, safe holiday and a great Christmas. We are so proud of you for what you've done this year. We're looking forward to what happens in 2018. Absolutely. We wish you the best of luck, and we cannot wait to talk to you during the season next year to keep track of how you're doing.
Yeah, give us another female win next year.
What's that?
Give us another female win next year. I like seeing the females on top.
I know. Me too.
Now, and final question, kind of unfair. What are you getting your dad for Christmas?
Oh, God, that's a hard question.
Actually, I just got him. He mentioned it a while ago. He's a hard person to shop for.
I can understand.
He has everything. And if you do buy him something, he doesn't even want to open it because he thinks that he's not going to like it. And then he's going to have to pretend to like it.
Yes.
Or he's going to have to wear it when he doesn't want to wear it.
Yes,
so
you got him a Hatchimal, didn't you? You got him a Hatchimal.
No, but I actually know what you're talking about. No, so anyways, a while ago, he mentioned he wanted Tim Tebow's new book.
Oh.
I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head. So when I was stranded in the airport for 4 hours with delays and missed flights, I went shopping and I found his book there. So
that's an
what he's
awesome
getting
gift
for Christmas from me.
That is awesome. And that's an inspirational book, too.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
And talk about positive influence right there. Tim never seems to let it get him down. I mean, he's been taken all the way down, and he don't let it bother him.
Yeah. So,
well, Brittany, thank you so much for joining us. Have a fantastic holiday.
Absolutely.
And we look forward to talking to you next year.
Congratulations.
Right, thank you.
Well, I guess I can put the ring back.
Yeah, I don't know how you're going to get back in the bubblegum machine, but good luck.
Oh, I have my ways. I got one of them key chucks. I can just take the top off the thing and just put it back in. I mean, that's how I got the bubble gum and the Skittles when I was a kid anyway.
Why don't you give it to, like, your kid so he can give it to somebody?
He don't need to give it to anybody. He's 8.
He can have a little girlfriend.
He does have a little girlfriend. She brings him. She brings him toys.
Well, see, she brings him toys. He's got to get her something for Christmas.
It's so cute. I got to get her something for Christmas.
No, see, that's the gift right there. You're done.
And get him something for Christmas. Maybe I can get him an autographed picture of Brittany Force.
You'd keep that for yourself, and I'm scared what you would do with it.
This is true. But well, no, I mean, I'd hang it up over the bed. I mean, I would put it in the locker room. No, I'd put it here in the office. Look,
oh my God,
she is a prime example of what good rearing and what good motivation and good focus will get you in a sport when you have everything against you.
I mean, she's got everything going for her, but she also has everything against her in terms of what people might say, you know, as far as, okay, she's the daughter of one of the best NHRA drivers out there ever, legendary. And, you know, you're always going to have those drivers who say, well, you're just a product of your dad, or, you know, your dad's handed everything to you. You didn't have to work for it. I disagree, because talking to John in the past, I know for a fact he makes his kids work. He doesn't hand them everything.
Right.
So, you know, while you'll see other drivers come up in other sports, I mean, look at NASCAR. That's pretty much all you see anymore. It's all, you know, the daddy's kids and that kind of thing. And honestly, a lot of them do have the money handed to them. So, you know, and they have everything else handed to them. So John makes all his kids work for it. And Brittany's been one of the hardest working ones out of all the Force kids that I've met in the past. So, I mean, you know, all of them have worked for what they've got, but I don't think Brittany ever gave up this year. And she had reason to give up towards the beginning of the season. I didn't see her coming.
Right.
I really didn't. And then the countdown, I'm like, she's giving it a shot. But I really didn't see her coming. And when I, you know, saw the end there at Auto Club, I was like, whoa, this is not, okay. I was thinking it was going to be Steve Torrance in Top Fuel, Ron Capps in Funny Car. And what's funny is we're also going to be talking to our Pro Stock driver who won, and I didn't see him coming either.
I was going to say, where do you see Bo Butner falling?
Now, okay, Bo Butner was coming. He had a good shot. But honestly, I really thought Greg Anderson had it. He had everything going for him at Auto Club. He had everything fall into place except for one race. I knew KB Racing was going to win it, but did I think Bo Butner? I was kind of skeptical.
Right.
Maybe. He'd probably be mad to hear me say that, but I really thought Greg Anderson had it locked up. So the 3 drivers I thought had locked up, none of them won.
Well,
not one.
We may think he's going to be mad, but we're going to find out for sure, because coming up here in just a second, we're going to be talking to Bo Butner. And for people who may not know, give me a little background on Bo before we bring him on.
Bo is actually one of the funniest Pro Stock drivers I've ever talked to. In fact, I got to give it to KB Racing. I don't know how they picked 3 drivers that have some of the best personalities I've ever talked to in the NHRA. I can't seem to spit that out tonight. I'm stuttering.
The holiday sauce is flowing.
Oh, see, he shouldn't have gave me that before the show. I told him not to.
Moonshine.
Oh, such a bad influence. What can I say? No, but he is one of the most hysterical drivers I've ever talked to. He has the best personality, but he may have, you know, he may be silly right there at the track. He may be silly when he's on the phone, but when it's time to get behind the wheel, he's got it, you know. And Greg Anderson and he went back and forth all season long, and Greg held it most of the season. And when I talked to Greg right before the championship, he really thought he had it locked up. But the driver he was the most afraid of, or really thought had a shot at taking it from him, was Bo Butner. So, but Bo also struggled against a rookie who almost looked like he had a shot at it.
Right.
And he had to line up against that one rookie driver to take the championship. And it was iffy, but he got it. And he's phenomenal in doing so. He never
We're
going
to hear all about that. We're going to take a quick break, pause for a commercial break from our sponsors. But you are listening to Behind the Wheel, and coming up next on the other side, the interview with Bo Butner.
Attention racers, race fans, and gearheads. If you're looking to buy, sell, or trade the stuff that stokes your engine, then check out RacingJunk.com. RacingJunk.com is the world's #1 online racing and performance classifieds, where you'll find what you need to rock your ride. Check us out at RacingJunk.com. Racing and performance classifieds built to go fast.
Continuing the championship pattern here on Behind the Wheel on RacingJunk.com. Ellen, I know you're excited about talking to Bo right here. So, Bo, thank you so much for joining us, buddy. Tell me, how did you take down Anderson in the series finale?
I've raced for 22 years in about every type of race car you can possibly think of. And you have your certain days to where that just everything flows your way. And that's how I can recall the Pomona race, because I didn't drive the best. We kind of got away with a couple early, and then ran just good enough to beat Greg. And then, of course, in the final, Tanner had an issue in that lane, which allowed us to win easy. So, it's great. We're happy that we finished 1, 2, and 3. I mean, that was kind of our goal at the beginning of the year. And I'm sure Greg would rather be a different order, but they're great guys, and then they support me and they're happy.
I was going to ask you, how does Greg feel about you taking the win away? Because it looked like he was so close going up to Auto Club, and then all of a sudden it blew the other way.
At the time of the moment, I mean, he's the most competitive person you ever meet. I mean, he's a machine, and I call him an animal. But just as soon as it was over, gives me a big hug and tells me I deserve it, and we all do real well together as a team. So. Of course, he wants somebody to make it wrong like we all do, but he was very encouraging, so I couldn't be happier. I'm just fortunate. It shows a lot for the KB team to even allow me to have the opportunity to win, because that's what they do for a living. So if anybody ever questions about laydowns or anything like that with this group, I think that just answers it.
Yeah, good point. He actually told me when I interviewed him earlier this year that he thought if anybody could take it from him, it would be you. So, congratulations.
He knows his game. I mean, he's as good as I've ever seen, probably the best I've ever beat in this class. So, thank you.
That's awesome. Well, tell me, I know when I read about when NHRA sent us the information, when I read about who you had to go up against to kind of take the championship, I thought, oh, that's the one that he's struggled with all year. So, tell me how you finally beat the rookie who has been kind of struggle all year.
Yeah, of course. I mean, we usually have a pretty good race. He will always get you in the tree, whether it's a little bit or a lot, and he makes a good run against me. So it was, like I say, it was our time to win. And like I said, he had some type of mechanical issue. So it's just relieving, and he's tough. He's going to be hard to beat, but that's the kind of guys we like to race.
So tell me, you mentioned the kind of guys you like to race against. Why do you prefer the pro stock division over others?
Well, I'm running stock, super stock, comp, every class that builds up to that, and that's kind of your ultimate dream. More of a fantasy than a dream for most, because you don't get that opportunity, and I call it a lot like hitting the lottery, especially to be able to be competitive. There's been a lot of guys try it and jump, but they're just middle of the pack kind of car. I was fortunate enough to hook up with the best team at Pro Stock scene, and it just shows you that my car is as fast or faster than theirs most of the year. So, I don't know. I can't do it just to say I drive Pro Stock. I want to be able to win. I want to leave the house knowing that I'm going there to win this race this weekend. You don't want to go thinking, well, you got to have a bad mishap or something bad happen to the other teams for you to have a chance. So. That's just the way we are. I'll stay at home and sell cards if I don't have a chance.
So that was one thing I wanted to ask you too is, how are you going to go above this next year? You've had the opportunity to finally pick up a championship. Where do you go from here in 2018?
Well, Brittany, my fiance, will tell you, and then she's got Jason, Ryan, and I both stating this, that you can't be a lazy winner. It doesn't come easy. It doesn't come neat in any class. I don't care if it's a bracket race every weekend or if it's pro stock. But I don't know. It's just we're going to enjoy it and have fun, try to win some more races. I didn't really count points, as it sounds funny, but just try to go around. So get to the semis, get to the finals, win a couple, and then the points add up themselves. So we're going with that same mentality next year. It's going to be different. We're going to have another teammate with Derek Kramer, so that's going to be good. It's going to be another good fast car, and he's a very good driver. So just my only goal up to do in racing is I've never won U.S. Nationals in any class. So if I could ever do that, I would say no, I'd be complete, but I probably still wouldn't quit.
I don't blame you. Now, you said you're adding next teammate. Are you guys going to continue to just stick with the Pro Stock series, or do you think that maybe KB Racing might jump into one of the other series?
I haven't heard anything yet. There's always rumors and talks of everything, but they'll stay strong, and they're working very hard to build us a couple new motors and do a lot of testing, and it's going to be more competitive than ever. So the guys that show up now have a legit chance to win and go around. So which makes it fun. You have to drive, and that's why I do it. It's the competitiveness and it's just the toughness of the class. It's the toughest class in the world. I mean, you would never imagine it until you try to run it.
Why do you say it's the toughest class?
Because it's probably the closest class won by thousands and less than there's ever been in anything. I mean, it's bracket racing and stock, super stock, all that. I mean, you can win by hundreds or two, and you feel pretty good with it. There's been many times I looked over at high gear, and you really don't know who's going to win this race. So it's that close.
That's a good answer. So one question I like to also ask a lot of our drivers that, come on behind the wheel. What is your advice to young drivers that want to be like you, like a Tanner Gray who hopes to pull off a championship like this someday? What's your advice?
He definitely has a backing. He's getting the experience. I mean, people know he's a rookie, but there's no telling how many hundreds of runs he makes in a simulator, which is great. But he's just practicing. But I think it goes along with your whole lifestyle. I mean, it's just to be honest with yourself, and that's kind of how I made a big change in my life a few years back. So that seems to work out, and I was lucky enough to be blessed to win some races before, but now since I've tried to straighten up, that my your life's better and you think clearer. But just to be honest and you don't have to put on a front for anybody. Just go out and have fun.
That's good advice. So one thing we like to ask on this show, since technically it's our Christmas show, now that you've got this championship, what you gonna ask for Christmas?
I get that from my fiance Randy, and then my mom, my kids. I want, what do you want for Christmas? There's nothing material that I want, but it's great. I'm getting ready to go up to the PRI show Saturday. I'm actually going to speak at the Division III banquet because I'm a Division III racer. So just to meet these people and all the sportsman people and everybody they really support us, and it got so strong throughout the year, which is really cool because I'm not saying that we're bringing pro stock back, bringing life to it, but there's a lot of sportsman guys more interested now since we raced. And same way with Drew Shulman, because we both came from stock, super stock, and we know absolutely everybody that shows up here to race. But just for all those people to know that I appreciate them and thank them very much. And but for a Christmas gift, you can't beat it. And it's still not sunk in, but it's just to be able to have a chance to do it again, maybe.
Well, that's awesome. Well, we're definitely going to pick you as a favorite for next year, and hopefully you'll pull off another one because you were great, right? So.
Yeah, that would be great. And every now and then we can let Jason win one.
Boy, today's show was packed.
That's right. I mean, who thought I'd be able to get all three championship drivers on behind the wheel? I'm so excited.
I did. I have full faith in you.
Hey, right there at the holiday season too. Gotta
Yes.
give myself just a little bit of a pat on the
Right
back.
here. Speaking of, from everybody here behind the wheel, we want to wish you a safe and happy holiday, a Merry Christmas. What are you doing for Christmas?
Honestly, probably just hanging out with the family. Got to pick out our Christmas tree this weekend, and I've got 2 puppies at home. Everybody pray that my 2 puppies don't decide to destroy their first
Eat the
Christmas
tree.
tree.
Yes. What do you want for Christmas? What are you getting?
Honestly, I just want my family to be healthy. I wish I could get the one thing that we really would like to have for Christmas, and that's my brother to be able to come home from Puerto Rico. He's there helping people get their power
Get the
back.
cleanup, yep.
But
Which a lot of people don't understand. That's still
Right.
going on.
That is still going
Yeah.
on. There's a lot of the power grid they are rebuilding. He sent us some pictures this weekend from Puerto Rico. There are still trees down there. There are still roofs with tarps on. So, if you have a chance to give back to people this holiday season, don't hesitate. Because honestly, those people still need it. I mean, there's actually a chef there now who is still cooking meals for people who have no electricity. So,
Wow.
And they haven't had it for months. Could you imagine going through the holidays with no electricity with all the lights around here?
And you got to remember that's been a couple of months now.
Yes.
So that's If you get a chance, please support that. Well, that's okay. That's good.
No,
That'll
he's
be a
coming
good
home
Christmas.
right before the holidays, so he's going to come home for my dad's birthday. So I'm really glad about that.
Okay.
But and honestly, I just want everybody to be healthy and happy this year. I want to see everybody in my family just be happy and us get to spend time together. I've got too much stuff as it is. I don't need any more junk.
Right. But you can always use more racing junk.
That's right, always.
So we want to thank you guys for listening to Behind the Wheel on racingjunk.com, and we hope you have a safe and wonderful holiday. Happy Merry Christmas, whatever you celebrate. Look, I don't care. I just hope it's good for you.
Let's just hope Chris doesn't drink too much under eggnog and stuff. Under
Let's
the
just
tree.
hope I don't get found sans clothing again, running through one of our downtowns, doing my Christmas carols. Let's
no.
Are
Are you going to call me singing, and I'm going to have to find you somewhere?
Yes.
Oh,
yeah.
no.
They'll
Not
fish.
again.
They'll have to fish old Tater out of another fountain again this Christmas. Let's just hope that don't happen. Anyway, we also want to thank our NHRA championship guests for taking the time out of their busy schedules to tell us about how they pulled off their championships. Top Gun, Brittany, Bo. They were fantastic.
Incredible.
We wish them the best. And if you have a guest that you'd like to see featured, be sure to hit us up on Facebook at Racing Junk Fan or on Twitter at Racing Junk. Each month, as you know, we're going to try to bring you the behind-the-scenes insight on the sport that we all love right here, racing, because behind the wheel, that's where we want you to see it. So have a safe and fun holiday, and we'll catch you in January.
Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.